close to the Vatican. They would cross the bridge by the Castel Sant'Angelo, walk the streets of the Centro Storico, and take coffee somewhere. Then they would return to her home around midnight, where he would stay until the morning, when meetings would occupy him for the next 2 days. This was, she thought, an ample provision of intellectual activity, pleasant company, and physical fulfillment. Enough to keep her happy. Enough, a stray thought said, to quell the doubts. She tried to focus on the priceless manuscript sitting on the mahogany desk by the window. This was a yellow volume quite unlike those Sara Farnese normally examined in the Vatican reading room. A 10th century copy of De Re Coquinaria, the famed imperial Roman cookery book by Apicius from the 1st century A.D. She would make him a true Roman meal, Icicia aumentata, small beef fritters with pine kernels, pullus fusilis, chicken stuffed with herb dough, and tyrropatinum, a souffle with honey. She would explain that they were eating in because it was August. All the best restaurants were shut. This was not an attempt to change the status of their relationship. It was purely practical, and, furthermore, she enjoyed cooking. He would understand, or, at the very least, not object. "Apicius?" asked a voice from behind, so unexpected it made her shudder. She turned to see Guido Fratelli smiling at her with his customary doggedness. She tried to return the gesture, though she was not pleased to see him. The Swiss guard always made for her whenever she visited. He knew, or had learned, enough of her work in the library to be able to strike up a conversation. He was about her own age, running to fat a little, and liked the blue semi-medieval uniform and the black leather gun holster a little too much. As a quasi-cop, he had no power beyond the Vatican, and only the quieter parts of that. The Rome police retained charge of St. Peter's Square, which was, in truth, the only place the law was usually needed, and they were a different breed, nothing like this quiet, somewhat timorous individual. Guido Fratelli would not last a day trying to hustle the drunks and addicts around the Termini station. "I didn't hear you come in," Sara said, hoping he took this as a faint reproach. The reading room was empty apart from her. She appreciated the quiet. She did not want it broken by conversation. "Sorry," he patted the gun on his belt, an unconscious and annoying gesture. "We're trained to be silent as a mouse. You never know." "Of course," she replied. If Sara recalled correctly, there had been 3 murders in the Vatican in the course of almost 200 years. In 1988, when the incoming commander of the Swiss Guard and his wife were shot dead by a guard corporal harboring a grudge, and in 1848, when the Pope's Prime Minister was assassinated by a political opponent. With the city force taking care of the crowds in the square, the most Guido Fratelli had to worry about was an ambitious burglar. "Not your usual stuff?" he asked. "I've wide-ranging interests." "Me too." He glanced at the page. The volume had come in its customary box, with the name in big black letters on the front, which was how he knew what she was reading. Guido was always hunting for conversational footholds, however tenuous. Perhaps he thought that was a kind of detective work. "I'm learning Greek, you know." "This is Latin. Look at the script." His face fell. "Oh, I thought it was Greek you looked at normally." "Normally." She could see the distress on his face and couldn't help being amused. He was thinking, I have to try to learn both? "Maybe you could tell me how I'm doing sometime." She tapped the notebook computer onto which she had transcribed half the recipes she wanted. "Sometime, but not now, Guido. I'm busy." The desk was at right angles to the window. She looked away from him, into the garden again, seeing his tall, dark form in the long window. Guido was not going to give up easily. "Okay," he said to her reflection in the glass, then walked off, back down to the entrance. She heard laughter through the floor from the long gallery above. The tourists were in, those who had sufficient influence to win a ticket to these private quarters. Did they understand how lucky they were? Over the last few years, both as a part of her role as a lecturer in early Christianity at the university and for purely personal pleasure, she had spent more and more time in the library, luxuriating in the astonishing richness of its collection. She had touched drawings and poems executed in Michelangelo's own hand. She had read Henry VIII's love letters to Anne Boleyn, and a copy of the same king's Assertio Septem Sacramentorum, signed by the monarch, which had won Henry the title.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.